I've worked in healthcare almost 40 years. The last 32 have been at Guelph General Hospital, and previously to that, St. Joe's when they merged. So I've seen it from the healthcare point of view. I work in pharmacy. I have done retail and I've done hospital over the 40 years in total for pharmacy. So I've seen it when you have people coming in that have been on the street, and when I've done med histories, you find out, well, they don't know what meds they're on, they can't find their meds, they don't know how to properly take them. So you see that they need help. And if they're into a place where they can get some help, then they'll be organized, hopefully. And that little bit of organization will help them know that these are meds they take at breakfast, they take at lunch, they take at supper. They'll have someone that they can go to. Okay, I don't understand this. Can you help me understand what this means? Or how do I take this? And they won't be ashamed to just say, I don't know what to do.
Excellent.
This hopefully will help them to know what to do, where to go, who to talk to, things like that.
Affordable housing has been an issue for a long time, and from a personal point of view, back 28 years ago, when I was working, the company that I worked for, I convinced them to support the Habitat for Humanity bill that was in Guelph that year. So from a personal standpoint, although I haven't been a vociferous campaigner, I've recognized the importance of affordable housing. And then in more recent years, volunteering with Chalmers Community Services, I've met some of the folks that will benefit from the permanent supported housing. And they're the most vulnerable in our society. So as we look at the whole issue, and it's complex, of affordable housing, this is the best place to start because these are the people that are at most risk.
So why did you choose the campaign for your resources? You could have gone other places. What about the campaign in particular attracted the congregation as a powerful way to, and a good investment of your resources?
Well, the congregation has been encouraged by our minister for a long time. The congregation has a history of social activism, but John has been, he chaired the Coalition for the Elimination of Poverty for a long time. So we've been looking for opportunities for a while. And if you go back to the 60s and 70s, the leaders of this church purchased properties around the church. And so we have affordable apartments behind the church. The house next to the manse was a Abbeyfield house. And it's still used for affordable housing managed by the County of Wellington today. And about 7 years ago, we were approached by a developer who talked to us about redeveloping the properties behind the church, which would involve changing or knocking down the houses that are there now, but increasing the stock of affordable housing in the process. And that really whet our appetites for something that, hey, here's something that's maybe attainable, and it didn't work for a variety of reasons. It fell apart, but it set us on edge to look for opportunities. We learned a lot during that process, and we were looking for opportunities that we could get back into some practical form of supporting affordable housing. So then, unfortunately, Westminster St. Paul's had to close. And when we found out that we would be beneficiaries from the sale of that building, several of us who were involved in that process before said, we'd like to see this money used for affordable housing. And so we decided we needed to update ourselves on the status of affordable housing projects in Guelph, and in the process found out about this campaign. So I don't believe that this was a coincidence. I think this was being directed. And so here we were with this gift of money and an opportunity to invest it and to help the most vulnerable in our society. And what other choice was there? we just had to do it, and the congregation agreed unanimously, and we came up at our annual meeting and we said, yes, that's what we're going to do with this money.
Anything to add, Cindy?
No, I mean, it was wholeheartedly yes. I mean, it's a great project right from day one. I think it's going to be a wonderful project.
So building on that, what do you want the community, what's your message to the rest of the community about getting involved in the campaign?
I think they should know that every dollar is going to count. I mean, this is a good start. They need to know that, I mean, maybe you can only afford to do $10. But that $10, you give $10, maybe somebody else can give 15. Maybe somebody can only give 5. But that $5 is going to help somebody have a home that right now is living on the street. I mean, maybe I can give 50 or 100. Maybe I can only give 5. But everybody's going to know that they can go deep in their heart and say, I helped get that building built. And I mean, once it's set up, there's going to be resources available for those people. I mean, I myself, being in pharmacy, I would like, I mean, when they get resources available, I would like to be able to donate my time being in pharmacy if they have people that have questions about their medications, if something like that can be available to them. I'd like to be available 1 day a week to help them if something like that can be set up.
Excellent. Rick, anything to add to that?
You know, when you look at the model that this is following, and in other municipalities where they've done this, it just makes so much sense because it gives people stability and support, and instead of a revolving door kind of thing, they have a permanent address they can call their own. They can get the support and help they need right there. It just makes perfect sense, because otherwise there's huge costs to the healthcare system and policing and everything else. This solves the problem.